Welcome, my friends. Welcome to Touching the Edge. Thank you so much for joining. I'm delighted to be here with you. I'm delighted to be here with you because I am so interested in understanding myself better and understanding how to move in the world more effectively. And one of the things that helps me or supports me is movies. I love movies, and I've loved movies throughout my life. One of my favorite movies, for instance, is the movie Ghost Dogs, starring Forest Whitaker. I love that movie because it focuses on the medieval texts of the samurai, the Hagakure. And I've learned so much from it. But there's a lot of other movies that I've enjoyed. And one of those movies it's not just like philosophical movies, it's action pictures. For instance, a movie that I enjoyed in childhood was the movie Jaws. You remember Jaws? There's the famous scene in Jaws where the actor Roy Scheider says, he's throwing out the material to bring in the sharks, the chum, I think it's called. And all of a sudden the great white rears up and he steps back and he's shocked and he says, "You're going to need a bigger boat. You're going to need a bigger boat." And I want to suggest that is true for us as well. We are going to need a bigger boat. To me, and I've said this many times, the true pandemic is that separation, that isolation, the fracturing. And you never can end separation. You can always divide further. So at one level, it's about the world, it's about politics. But when we become inflamed, we find ways of being upset with people in all kinds of ways. We find ourselves feeling disrespected in lots of different ways. And I want to suggest that you may feel that as well. You may feel some sense of disrespect at work or in the family, or it may even be because of something you've done. Please recognize that just because we feel like we're right, it doesn't mean that we're not wrong. And when we are doing something that's wrong for someone else, we become the villain in their story. And so what I want to suggest that this concept of having a bigger boat means that we want to have a vessel that can steady us in the storm of all of these conflicts that are going on. We don't want to absorb ourselves and get distracted because we're so focused in how we feel someone's disrespected us that we just become isolated within that fracture. We have to find a way of keeping an open heart and staying in union with all of humanity and life itself. It's my suggestion that you can't hate life and love yourself. So having a bigger boat is having a vessel that can stand the storms and be in balance and keep yourself from being flooded by all the frustration and conflict around us. We want to recognize that even with what's going on, that we are larger than the situation, and being larger than the situation is the boat that I'm talking about. When you are bigger than life, when you are larger than life, I had a friend who described it as being a mensch, being larger than life. When you're larger than life, that is your boat, that is your vessel. And then instead of being surrounded and engulfed by what's going on, you are bigger than what's going on and still receiving light and inspiration. And in that process, you find a way to transmute, to change what is challenging into beauty so that it becomes an expression of who you really are rather than what you are just upset about. And so build a bigger boat. Find a way to have what's going on that makes you larger than life. I'm going to ring the bell. I'm going to ask you to listen carefully. Here we go. Having a bigger boat means that you're not defined by life. You are framing it for yourself. I bring my hands together and I bow to you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining. Please let other people know about these videos and be part of the conversation. We can be each other's vessel. Thank you and have a wonderful day.